By almost every major statistical measurement, the average American is worse off than they were a generation ago. Some pundits have taken to blaming the younger generations, saying that they're entitled, self-centered, too absorbed in their smartphones to work. And while some of those complaints may have a grain of truth to them, the data suggests that the kids are not the problem. Generally speaking, Americans today, especially young Americans, are the most educated and productive generation in U.S. history. But they are also incredibly underemployed or unemployed. This is for the simple reason that there are no jobs, especially middle-class jobs. Most of the drop in unemployment since the 2008 crisis has come from part-time or low-skilled jobs, and from people leaving the workforce altogether. Today, approximately 25% of people with college degrees don't have a job and aren't even looking. But why? What happened? Where did we go wrong, or did we even go wrong? The kids developed a belief system around success equals hard work equals deserving great things, and failure equals laziness equals deserving shitty things. And those heuristics work great in a society where there's boundless opportunity, infinite resources, and constantly expanding markets. But when the tides turn, and those opportunities are simply no longer there, well, these same beliefs become quite dangerous and even destructive. 1. The American dream causes people to believe that people always get what they deserve. The American dream is essentially just another form of what psychologists call the just world hypothesis. The just world hypothesis says that people get what's coming to them. Bad stuff happens to bad people, and good stuff happens to good people. Bad stuff rarely, if ever, happens to good people, and vice versa. Over 25% of Americans have no savings. Zero. I know what you're saying. They shouldn't have spent so much money on flat-screen TVs. And maybe there's something to that. But the labor market is at an all-time low. Real wages have been stagnating for 50 years straight. The point is, the jobs just suck. It means people can work just as hard as they did before, or even harder, and end up in a worse place. 45% of homeless people have a job. You know that guy that sleeps on the bench in your favorite park, and when he asks you for $1, you scream, "Get a f***ing job," at him? Yeah, chances are he already has one. 2. The American dream causes us to believe that people are only worth what they achieve. If everybody gets what they deserve, then we should treat people based on what happens to them. Therefore, success makes you into some kind of saint, a role model that everyone else should follow. Failure turns you into a pariah, an example of what everyone else should try not to be. But the truth is that people don't always get what they deserve. Bad things do happen to good people. We all screw up and make mistakes. Each of us suffers from some vice or tic or failure, and that same belief that makes us feel so good when times are great is the same one that causes us to shame and demonize ourselves when things aren't so great. 3. The American dream indirectly encourages people to feel justified in exploiting others. A couple years ago, a friend of mine was accused of a serious crime that he did not commit. He hired a lawyer, went to court, and was found not guilty. About 6 months later, he received a letter from a legal office threatening to sue him for the exact same offense he was just found not guilty of in criminal court. After consulting his lawyer, the lawyer said that this was basically just a scare tactic, probably an automated letter designed to scare people into paying a settlement rather than going back to court again. So think about this a second. There is a lawyer out there, or team of lawyers, who go down to City Hall and look through the registry of people who have been acquitted of major crimes. These lawyers then without even knowing anything about the people involved, send a letter to the acquitted person, threatening to sue them on the victim's behalf, hoping that maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 will be scared enough to pay up some money so that the lawyer will go away. This is pure exploitation, and the sick thing is, it's perfectly legal. In fact, the lawyers who do this probably make decent money and have nice cars and live in nice neighborhoods and seem like nice guys as they fetch their newspaper and pet your dog and comment on the latest sports scores. But they're total scumbags. In a culture where your worth as a human being is tied with your level of socioeconomic success, there will arise a kind of might makes right principle. That is, if I do something that gets money out of you, well, it's your fault for not knowing any better. It all becomes not only more justifiable, but it becomes more necessary to maintain the same cultural belief that hard work always wins out. When you're a kid, you believe everything is right in the world. You go to school, you do what your parents say, you believe what people tell you, and you assume everything is going to work out. But when you're a teenager, you come to realize that a lot of this is bullshit. By the time you reach adolescence, you are subjected to life's first traumas and failures. You recognize that the world isn't fair. Things go wrong sometimes. Bad things happen to good people and vice versa. And in many ways, you're not as great as you had always thought or realized. Some teenagers handle this realization well and with maturity. They accept it and cater themselves to it. Other teenagers, particularly teenagers who are pampered and learn most of what they know about the world through TV or internet, don't handle it so well. The world doesn't conform to their small-minded belief system, and instead of blaming the belief system, they blame the world. And that blaming doesn't turn out well for anybody. The US is a young country. Culturally, we are teenagers, just a couple generations out of our golden years of innocence. And as a country, we are coming to realize that our young idealism has its worldly limits, that we are not exceptions, that things are not just, that we cannot fully control our destiny. The question is how well we will adapt and mature to this new reality. Will we accept it and modify our ethos to match the 21st century? Or will we become petulant and angry and scapegoat our cognitive dissonance of our national consciousness away? Perhaps the best thing about the United States is that we get to decide.
If you found the video informative, then hit the like button, comment your thoughts down and share to spread the word. Also, a sub to the channel would be motivating. Just wait, we also have over 300 videos to watch, just click left or right. Keep inspiring.